We target an existential threat that endangers global security, and we will prevail.
Brigadier General F.E. Defrin, Israel's health ministry, says at least 240 people were injured.
Iranian missiles struck multiple locations across Israel, including a hospital in Beersheba, where dozens were injured. In Holon, an apartment block has been left with its roof caved in. Rescue workers are combing through the debris. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has promised revenge against what he calls the tyrants in Israel's capital, Tehran.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. He means Iran's capital, Tehran. President Trump's considering getting the U.S. involved, taking out Iran's nuclear capabilities. Fox's Peter Ducey reports from the White House.
I've been told, and talking to folks around here, that it is possible some Iranian negotiators could come here to the White House as soon as next week. But there are logistical problems getting the people who would be negotiating out of wherever they're hiding in Iran, out of the country, and then to the White House. And the way President Trump is looking at this, every time Israel strikes inside Iran, the Iranians have less leverage.
They should have made the deal. I had a great deal for them.
Hurricane Eric has just made landfall along Mexico's southwest coast, but that's the eye finally hitting. Fox Weather's Britta Merwin says it's a technicality. The eye's been finally hitting land.
It's been making landfall all night, and they have been through just probably terrifying moments overnight in Mexico.
Eric was a Category 4. Now it has 125-mile-an-hour winds, with flooding a concern in resort areas. Another failure for SpaceX.
Whoa!
The new Starship rocket didn't even get off the ground.
No!
That was during NASA's live stream. The rocket exploded on the launch pad in Texas. 3 recent SpaceX test flights of the Starship led to failure and loss of the spacecraft. America's listening to Fox News.
You're great at protecting your personal information. You might even use things like two-factor authentication and strong passwords. But as much as you try to control how your info's protected, there are other places that also have it, and they may not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name Clay as the promo code at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
The Senate has held the first hearing investigating President Biden's mental fitness while in office.
This was a constitutional crisis.
Senator John Cornyn and his Republicans probe if the Biden administration covered up the president's decline. Many Democrats were no-shows at the hearing, upsetting GOP Senator Eric Schmidt.
They have chosen to ignore this issue like they ignored President Biden's decline. Their absence speaks volumes.
The use of the auto pen and if President Biden knowingly made key decisions such as pardons is being questioned by the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator Peter Welsh pushing back as Democrats believe the move is political and isn't benefiting the American people.
What we're doing right now won't help.
House Republicans are also looking into President Biden's alleged cognitive decline and cover-up and have issued subpoenas for several key Biden administration officials, as well as the former president's personal physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
There were big cheers outside a Massachusetts courtroom when Karen Reed was acquitted at a retrial on the death of her boyfriend, a police officer.
The jury found her not guilty of second-degree murder, manslaughter, and leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death. She was found guilty of the lesser charge, operating a vehicle under the influence, and was sentenced to 1 year probation.
Fox's Brian Yennis outside the court in Massachusetts. A mostly cloudy start for Vice President Vance on Blue Sky, a social media platform.
Just minutes after his first post, the vice president was suspended from Blue Sky Wednesday. The vice president writing, "Hello, Blue Sky. I've been told this app was the best place to go for common sense political discussion." But Vance was suspended within 12 minutes of the post. The ban, however, was brief as the vice president's account was reinstated. Blue Sky claimed Vance's account was suspended over concerns that it was run by an impersonator.
That's Krista Mayo. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news A man charged in a Rantoul shooting last fall. Mekhi Ross was arrested on the charge of aggravated battery with a firearm. October 28th in the 1100 block of Prairie View Drive. A man later arrived at a hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Police say the shooting stemmed from a verbal altercation. Dozens waiting in line to make their voices heard at the Urbanus Committee of the Whole meeting and public hearing Monday night. The majority of committee speakers focused on proposed funding increases for the police department. The budget proposes adding 3 patrol officers and a sergeant to supervise the community engagement team. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and this month a Central Illinois health professional wants to make sure you know the severity of the issue. The CDC found in 2023 nearly 80% of suicides committed by men. In 2022, more than 39,000 men died because of it. That's what's happening on your Thursday. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Joe Miller.
Well, I tell you what, I was driving on Windsor about 12:30 yesterday afternoon, and
start to get kind of dark on you.
Well, I don't remember in my driving career of having everything going as fast as I could and couldn't see a foot.
That's how I was the other day when I was over by Parkland and Country Fair Drive and Mattis, and it was just a deluge.
Well, yesterday was some little damage going on. Mike Claire said we had 7/10 in 20 minutes in Philo.
Man.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Greg Sawyer, meteorologist, kind of knows about this stuff, and the winds just went nuts after. But what kind of rain totals? Because I know how spotty stuff is.
Well, that line, that was a pretty snappy squall line, but it was moving quickly and relatively narrow. I mean, but that was enough to, spin up these rain-wrapped tornadoes, for example, around the Rantoul area. And generally into the quarter to half in some spots. That's the higher number that I've seen so far on that line itself at about 3/4 of an inch. So for all our efforts, that's what we came up with. However, there were additional areas you went down into the I-70 corridor and south of Champaign, Vermilion counties that had 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches. And you went back to the north up to around parts of western Kankakee, Will, Grundy counties. And from there, kind of along that I-39 and 35 corridor, 39 corridor up towards Rockford that had 1 to as much as 3 inches of rain in that short amount of time. So variability of the rain. The squall line was roughly from about Kankakee on southward, but then there were those nodules of storm clusters that spawned up severe weather. Jacksonville had tornado activity, Macomb as well, around the Tazewell County area. So the Weather Service will be out in an area from Tazewell, Peoria, Macomb, Jacksonville, Springfield, here in Champaign, Rantoul, and back up on the 74 corridor to Peoria. In that severe weather storm-related damage assessment thing they do to determine the strength of the tornado activity.
And then Dirk Rice said that there's a moment in the life of the cornstalk where they were snappable, very snappable, and some of that wind. He wasn't sure he'd been out there, but I
saw a lot of leaning.
Oh, yeah, definitely some leaning. There's no doubt.
That was just generally 55 to some of the stronger wind reports were 64, 65 mile per hour wind. So that green snap, if you're past I think it's like the V2, V3, V4 category with the layers of leaves on corn. I think once you get past 2 and 3, you're a little more susceptible to lodging, green snap, blow down. They had that with winter wheat in the Plain States in Kansas a few days ago, in 101 mile per hour wind gust at Wichita.
Oh, man. All right. Our meteorologist, Greg Sollier, brought to you by Carl.
Carl reminds you, if you're taking care of grandchildren or you need to sign up for Medicare, you have unpaid caretakers on your circle of friends, you need to contact Chris Healthy Aging Center with their partnership with Carl, carl.org/services.
Well, as we approach the first day of summer, appropriate that we're going to get into some serious heat. I mean, heat indices over 100 coming, I think, huh?
Yeah, heat wave weather pattern, by the way, while it's the airport, while it's really in Savoy, 42/100ths of an inch for all of our severe weather-related efforts there. But again, there were higher numbers north and northwest, south as well. But going forward, heads up accordingly on a pretty tough and troublesome heat wave weather pattern. But again, we may weaken what we call this atmospheric cap and get these ridge riding severe outbreaks of storm clusters. We may be moving into another violent round of weather later next week, starting early to mid next week in some of those northern and western Corn Belt areas. So they have heat wave, 10 days, 7 to 10 days, but waning as rain chances increase next week. Sprinkle around this morning, 83 the forecast high with a partly sunny sky. We're 67 at Willard and Savoy. Those dew points are still up. 65 tonight as humidity begins to come down this afternoon. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, warm, and 86 into summertime officially tomorrow night at 9:42 with a muggier overnight low down to 71. The early stages of that heat wave get going over the weekend. Maybe a thunderstorm to our north and northwest first thing Saturday morning, and sunny, windy, hot, humid. 92 Saturday, 95 Sunday, 96 Monday, 97 Tuesday. Heat index values 105 to 110. Maybe a couple of thunderstorms next Wednesday and Thursday with highs still north of 90 degrees. For DVJ Broadcasting, I'm Ultras, Greg Soldier.
All right, we are warned. We know how to do this. We check on people that might be affected. Generally speaking, central air is kind of a common thing these days, but back in the day, we just had a fan.
That's right.
We got a window air conditioner here at home in Philo back in the 60s, and everybody stayed in the dining room. So anyway, yeah, nowadays we should be okay, but there are some people that don't it's going to be stuffy, man. It's going to be, if you get over 100 degrees, you got some stuff going on.
That's right.
All right, we are alerted and we are aware. And yeah, that rain came down yesterday. If you're in the middle of it, as Diane was earlier in the week and I was yesterday, it was something because you don't know if you should stop because the flashers aren't going to do much. People can't see a thing. Mm-hmm. You just got to watch your speeds and stuff. But yeah, it's welcome to June. I'll take it. We all like to have this break, and then 42 is the number. 42 days till the students are really coming back.
Oh, wow.
Trickling back into the Champaign event. In early August is kind of when everything starts. Marching Illini and all the cheerleaders and all the football teams.
Yep.
Everybody gets kind of coming back. And we used to do some of them Rantoul, and Rantoul loved it. But Camp Rantoul was a thing for Ron Turner.
Yes.
And I think Ron Zook kept it going. I think Lovey said, no.
That's right.
I'm not moving my stuff up there. And they're not the fanciest things up there.
That's right.
I was at that Rotary thing on Saturday. Up in one of the things.
It's flyover studio hangars.
A hangar.
The first hangar.
What is a hangar?
Right off of Jenny Drive.
Yeah. Anyway, it was well attended, but I hadn't been on the base. I'm old enough to say, dang it! Why did we close that thing?
When we knew when it was moving and shaking and buzzing up there.
A vibrant contribution to the community. They have people in jets and generals walking around.
Mm-hmm.
It was great, and we obviously that's all we knew here in Champaign County for most of the 20th century.
Oh yeah, cruising campus to check out the Flyboys.
and so many people came through Rantoul, and I don't know. And you start cutting stuff like that, the impact of the community is just hard to recover, and Rantoul's never recovered from that, and you didn't expect him to.
I don't know. I feel like there's some momentum. Of course, with the storms yesterday, they're looking at the Rantoul Sports Complex. It's right off of 57. I'm so jealous of that idea. I wish we would have come up with that in my hometown at Tolono. In any case, they have some soccer fields that had some damage. The soccer is going to host on Sunday, so they had a little bit of time to recuperate, recover, whatever, any kind of damage that was done with some of the storm that blew through yesterday. And the baseball fields too, they get like 80 teams in there
awesome.
over the weekend.
Ben, you can't recover from 100 different nations being in your county. I mean, that's just a different deal.
Yeah.
And jets and all those amazingly big things. But they've tried, they're good people. You can buy a house for less than Rantoul.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just hard when it happens every time in the community. It's hard to come back from something like that.
And I feel like there's some things trending in those flyover studios in the movie industry.
Well, good. All right, let's check 714. We had a lot of rainouts and stuff. So
Yes,
here we go with
did.
our Diane Ducey with sports.
Calling for a doubleheader for today with St. Louis and the Chicago White Sox. Let's get more details.
The Redbird Recap is sponsored by Helitech Waterproofing and Foundation Repair. Heal your home with Helitech.
The Cardinals and White Sox were scheduled to play a game yesterday in Chicago, but that did not happen as a result of rain. So instead, the two teams are going to play a traditional doubleheader today. Pitching matchup in game number 1, Eric Fetty, who was pitching for the White Sox last season before being traded to the Cardinals, he is set to make the start. He enters the game with a 3-6 record, a 3.65 ERA. Rookie Sean Burke will go for the White Sox. He's 3-7 with a 4.71 ERA. You get to call up an extra player for a doubleheader, and for the Cardinals, they are going to call up pitcher Michael McGreevy. He is going to start the second game of the Twin Bill this year, 1-1 with a 3.09 ERA in his big league time. 1:10 first pitch for game number 1. Game 2 will start 30 to 45 minutes after the completion of game number 1. Our coverage at 12:15. For the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network, I'm Matt Pauley.
Is your home showing symptoms of foundation issues? Your home's wet basement, dingy crawl space, musty smells, cracked walls, or unlevel concrete shouldn't be ignored. Helitech can help. Life happens in your home. You and your family deserve the best. Helitech offers proven solutions in waterproofing, drainage, concrete leveling, and foundation repair services. Contact us for a free inspection at helitechonline.com.
When the water's high, we'll keep your basement dry. Heal your home with Helitech.
So Milwaukee and the Cubs also rained out. So 8/18, yes, August 18th is when they'll have the makeup date for that game. And let's see, today's Thursday the 19th, so I'm thinking things will line up for that day game today with a 1:20 start, the pregame over on US 105.9 at 12:45. Got some class of 26 football recruits coming in. I know Kai Pritchard is a 4-star lineman, Nassar Rankin, Isaiah Williams. There's another Isaiah Williams coming in, Stevie.
Okay.
He's a safety who got 32 offers starting with Texas Tech. But thanks to that relationship with Aaron Henry and a visit last week, he has committed to being a Illini.
All right.
That should be fun. Of course, we've got the NBA action in the finals tonight. Game 6. Oklahoma City is in Indianapolis to face the Pacers. Thunder leads that series 3-2. And even though there's a right calf strain, Tyrese Halliburton with the Pacers hoping to get in the game.
Okay, well, they need him. And they got to win, obviously, or the Oklahoma City Thunder will be your NBA champions, as decided middle to late June, and they'll start again in October. All right, this is June 19th. It's
right.
Juneteenth.
I was going to mention Caitlin Clark, and they just
they
bully her.
Keep beating her up, and somebody got fined, but nobody got suspended for the most recent incident. Again, it's the dumbest collective thing that the women are doing to hurt her.
Yeah.
It's gotten first year, okay, kind of initiation, but quit your jealousy. Why are women so jealous like that?
I don't know.
I'm sure guys have some of that.
Petty.
Guys have some of that, but I mean, it just seems like there are more girl fights in middle school than there are. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Right.
All right, anyway, Juneteenth. June 19, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, announced General Order No. 3, declaring that all enslaved people were free. Even though the Emancipation Proclamation was passed in 1863, happened more than 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln had issued that. Texas was the last Confederate state where the proclamation was enforced. They had a lack of Union troops to enforce until the end of the Civil War, because Texas wasn't going to just accept it. You're going to have troops down there to enforce it.
I see.
So that's Juneteenth. No banks, I guess. No post office.
That's right.
I'm so confused at what's open. I guess for sure no federal, but the banks are kind of on their own.
Right.
Will there be any banks open?
Well, yesterday the weather prevented Urbana Park District from doing their celebration and things, and their, at least administration is closed today with Juneteenth.
Weather brought to you by the Urbana Park District.
Yeah, that makes sense. The Crystal Lake Park Family Aquatic Center has some great hours, open 7 days a week. Check out the pool memberships and punch cards for extra savings. UrbanaParks.org.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana vicinity. Hope one and all made it through A-OK on the barrage of severe weather late yesterday afternoon and evening time, with numerous reports of 55 to 65 mile per hour winds. Some degree of hail, but it was the twister and funnel cloud activity with touchdowns into parts of Ford County, around the Rantoul area. Some farm equipment damage there, and westward to Springfield, back up to Tazewell County, and south to Jacksonville, all originating out of the Macomb area yesterday mid-afternoon. Maybe a couple of raindrops around to the north and east this morning, maybe a sprinkle this afternoon on a partly sunny day's worth of weather at 83. Humidity slowly comes on down. Fair tonight 65, partly cloudy, warm tomorrow at 86. Low 70s, a muggy night tomorrow night, and a heat wave gets going on Saturday, lasts through the first half of next week. 92 on Saturday, maybe a morning thunderstorm. Hot and humid, to say the least. Use care and caution Sunday through Tuesday. Mid-90s by day, mid-70s at night. For Stevie G Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
You've set your financial goals.
One kid plans to go Big Ten, the other Ivy. Your bucket list includes seaside sunrises and sunsets on the slopes, or perhaps a second home away from it all. Busey Bank can help develop the right investment strategy to take charge of the years ahead. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Donald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Global stocks have been losing ground. Crude oil futures are higher as the Iran-Israel conflict escalates. Investors are also looking at the Federal Reserve's hesitance to lower interest rates. The Fed did not cut rates yesterday, and Fed Chair Powell said he was waiting for the impact of tariffs. Powell says, "We haven't been through a situation like this, and I think we have to be humble about our ability to forecast it." However, the Fed is still planning 2 interest rate cuts this year. U.S. markets are closed today for the Juneteenth holiday. Tesla is scheduled to launch its robo-taxi service in Austin, Texas on Sunday. There, a group of Texas lawmakers is asking the company to delay it again until the state's new autonomous driving law takes effect in September. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda, invested in you.
Every hour of every day, Fox News Radio is there with the latest breaking news and information you rely on.
This is a Fox News Alert.
I'm Lisa Brady.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, with Fox News correspondents around the globe.
At the White House, Simon Owen in London.
On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News. The news that matters most to you. The top headlines, all in one place. Listen and follow the Fox News Hourly Update at foxnewspodcasts.com or ask your smart speaker to play Fox News.
Well, if you want to sell your home quickly, get the most money, and you do. I mean, everybody would want that. Why don't you get hold of Nate Evans and his group? You contact Nate and his team. Madison had worked with Nate and his team at the Nate Evans Group to purchase her first home years later when she needed to sell her home and relocate because of a new job. Yeah, she knew she wanted to work with Nate and his team again. Madison said that the Nate Evans Group made both the buying and selling process very easy and quick.
And they have that strong partnership with Zillow to create demand for your home, getting in front of more buyers. It's a really cool partnership. Plus, if you're investigating some new property, the top builders in the region, some of them, this partnership that Nate Evans has is exclusive. So you can get knowledge of new developments going up before other buyers are aware of them. Just a few of the things to mention when you work with Nate Evans of the Nate Evans Group with eXp Realty. If you need to move along, that immediate cash offer on your home, there's flexible fees. Why not sell your home for the most money possible and call the only agent I would call if I needed to sell my home? It's Nate Evans, a friend you can trust. 217-239-7113. Do an online search to Nate Evans Group and start packing.
Sell your home with Nate. Pick the price, pick the day. Go to theNateEvansGroup.com.
We're back. We have Paul Reekin from Dick Van Dyke Appliance World on the air. Paul, what makes buying an appliance at Dick Van Dyke so special?
Well, Chris, it all starts with our service department. We have an in-house service team that's second to none. And Chris, is that a dog in the background?
Max, keep it down. Have a snack, buddy. Go ahead, Paul.
With our in-house service team, we have our free 10-year protection plan included on most appliance purchases.
Paul, sorry. Let me close the window here.
Should we start over? Or?
Nope, we are on the air.
All right, so with our free protection plan, we also give you a lifetime discount on the service call even after the 10 years runs out.
Hey, cut it out for a second. Sorry, Paul, I have a basement remodel going on. Did you say a service call discount for the life of the appliance? Uninterrupted discounted service?
Uninterrupted discounted service.
For the life of the appliance. Uninterrupted, huh? I like that.
No interruptions. The kind of service that makes Dad say,
wow.
When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Hey, baseball fans, step up to the plate like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Circa Sports Illinois. It's sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, low holds, exceptional customer service, and more. Whether you're betting with the home team or scouting the next big matchup, take your swing with the Circa Sports app. Start betting like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com.
Yeah, this is totally in the summertime.
Yep, Mungo Jerry.
Yeah. All right, ESPN 93.5 coming up on 7:25. The White Sox and Cardinals, a true doubleheader. That means that's how we used to do it. When Ernie Banks back with the Cubs used to say, let's play 3, he meant in a row.
Right.
Well, they split them up now. They have like a 1 o'clock normally in Major League Baseball, 1 o'clock, and then a 6:45 kind of thing, because they clear out the place, clean it up, and get a whole nother gate. Well, in Chicago, particularly on the south side, they don't need to do that, because everybody that's coming this afternoon ain't coming back. So they better get it in. And honestly, let's be honest, nighttime on the south side of Chicago is not where I want to be.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
The crime. So anyway, they'll get them both in this afternoon, and they'll wait a half hour. Just like the old days, guys grabbed a bowl of ice cream, half hour, let's play again.
That's right.
But that's unusual. And yeah, you could drive up to the south side of Chicago in daytime and
get a couple of games in.
Yeah, no, it's great. And if you're a Cardinal fan, you're not going to get a better seat than this.
Why not?
And I presume they'll charge plenty of money for the closed seats, but I can't imagine if you're in the ballpark why they wouldn't let you go down.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I know.
You want around the home plate to look like there are people there. And if you buy the normal ticket that you don't want to spend an arm and a leg to go to the ballpark, I don't know how they do it. But, yeah. Anyway, they don't draw much. Better than last year. They had the worst record in baseball in the history of the game last year, and now Colorado's scaring that record.
Yes.
So we'll see if they can take that honor away from the Chicago White Sox. So, yeah, Sox won World Series, man. I mean, it's been a minute, but...
My Wednesday Supper Club asking about a Jacob Hurtubise update, Stevie.
Well, my son-in-law, Jacob Hurtubise, is no longer with the Cincinnati Reds.
What?
Yeah. So he was taken off the 40-man. I've always felt there are just too many outfielders in the organization. So they deemed him the guy that would be off the 40-man roster. If you're off the 40-man roster, you have no insurance. But once you get it in March, you have it for a year. So they were covered. However, there's a rule in baseball, if you take a guy off the 40-man, there's 3 days he has to clear waivers, is what they call it. And so that means somebody else can take him if there's any interest. A lot of guys don't get taken, and they go back to AAA, and they hope they play. But since the Reds have obviously lost confidence, or any team would lose confidence in a guy they take off the 40-man.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, we don't know if you're going to help me, at least for now. You could come back and all that
right.
stuff. So anyway, so we waited, and apparently you have to wait all 3 days. There's nothing that happens in 3 days. The deadline was, I guess, 1 o'clock on Monday. Today's Thursday. Maybe it was Tuesday. 1 o'clock on Tuesday. And so we get a call from Jacob and Grace. He was claimed off waivers by the Seattle Mariners.
Seattle Mariners.
They are my official new favorite team. So I don't know much about
Probably the
Seattle.
farthest away you could go.
It is absolutely. Miami is closer. San Diego is closer.
Wow.
Los Angeles is closer. Anyway, we're thankful that he was picked up by a team that actually wanted him, really wanted him, because he was drafted by the Mariners in 2019, but he had another year at West Point. And so he got on a plane yesterday. The Reds set it all up for him, but they flew him to Charlotte. Isn't that opposite of Washington?
Right.
So he went to Charlotte and then had a 6-hour flight back to Seattle. Good news, Indianapolis to Seattle nonstop is running about $220.
That's awesome.
So we had
to go see my sister Linda soon with that kind of rate.
Well, then Grace put it on her Instagram, and because of Young Life, the non-denominational, Christian group for kids that my kids went through, they were out in Malibu, which is north of Vancouver, where you can climb mountains, and there's an amazing, unbelievable camp for kids. If you can get into Malibu, it's the number one thing in the Young Life chain of wonderful camps. Anyway, so my kids worked at Malibu for years, so they have a lot of Gracie knows a lot of people in Seattle.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. She's put it on Instagram, and the people that follow her were able to reach out and said, hey, I'm in Seattle, come see me, and all these other things. So they feel a good, warm welcome. Jacob arrived last night. Gracie stayed back this time. She really wanted to go, but he wanted to get the landscape and maybe be in the game tonight with the Tacoma Rainiers.
Okay.
Wasn't it called Mount Rainier?
Mount Rainier is out there for sure.
Wasn't Donald Trump going to move it back to Mount McKinley? William McKinley, 25th president, and then they moved it to Rainier. I don't know. Anyway, it's 45 minutes from Seattle, the AAA team. But the change on the Pacific Coast League, if you want to know about baseball, You got to fly everywhere. The closest away game is an 11-hour drive.
Wow.
They got to go down. I think they got to go to Texas.
Huh.
So at least everything is airplane, however, commercial. You don't get to charter till you're in the big league.
I see.
So they've got to do all that, and there's essentially no day off. Because if you're playing baseball 6 days a week, you don't get Monday off, you're traveling.
Yes.
Because you got in airports and all these other things.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, it's fascinating to get the behind-the-scenes look at how Major League Baseball works, but we're thankful that he is on another team. Somebody wanted him. The irony of it all is not only did they draft him, but the guy that actually talked Jacob into going to Cincinnati and said, that's your style of baseball, was the guy that coached against him from Air Force when Jacob played at Army at West Point. That's the guy that's in ahead of all the hitting for Seattle in the minor leagues.
Okay.
He knew of Jacob, remembered Jacob, advocated for Jacob, and wanted him on the team.
So still some West Point connections.
Yeah, still West Point connections and his history. So that's your Jacob Hurtubise update.
Thank you for that.
The news is now.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. At least 240 Israelis are reported hurt in Iranian missile strikes, one hitting a hospital. The Wall Street Journal reports President Trump has approved attack plans for Iran. Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House.
He said that he has not made a decision and that he likes to make the decisions at the last possible second. When we checked in on that Wall Street Journal story, which is well-sourced, I was told by a White House official that all options remain on the table.
Israeli airstrikes hit a nuclear power plant in Iran today. It's June 19th. Most federal offices, banks, and U.S. stock markets are closed.
Juneteenth honors the date when Major General Gordon Granger traveled to Galveston Bay, Texas in 1865 to share the news that more than 250,000 black people in the state were free. 2.5 years after President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863.
It's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Deep breaths might help you relax, but for firefighters, it saves lives. Monday night, some of the new and older Tolono firefighters did self-contained breathing apparatus training. In layman's terms, it's practicing breathing clean air through air packs. The chief there says the course teaches the best ways to breathe in hazardous conditions. Monday, community members in Champaign gathered to celebrate a mural designed to bring awareness to child abuse and neglect. It's called Protect Our Kids and was a collaboration between Champaign County CASA, Crisis Nursery, and muralist Leslie Kimball. It can be found on the west wall of the Experience Champaign-Urbana building. A temp rising in central Illinois this week, and the Illinois Emergency Management Agency is issuing guidance on how to beat the heat and stay cool. Officials on Facebook says the heat is one of the leading weather-related killers in the U.S. Hundreds of people die each year, and anyone can be overcome by heat-related injuries. Drink plenty of fluids and stay in the shade. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
All right, we check your weather. Meteorologist Greg Solier. We've got kind of a heat wave coming.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois. Champaign-Urbana Saturday. Well, clean up and recovery coming off the 55 to 65 mile per hour winds. And yeah, some of those tornadic producing thunderstorms doing just that, originating around the Macomb area, Jacksonville to Sangamon County, back up to around the Rantoul area through the better part of Champaign County with a couple of touchdowns and numerous funnel clouds and even twisters reported around the Peoria area for our efforts, if you will, just 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch in the gauge from that squall line. Quieter day's worth of weather. Humidity eases on down. Maybe a sprinkle to the north and east this morning. Maybe a sprinkle this afternoon. Partly sunny at 83. 65 for tonight. First day of summertime tomorrow evening, 9:42. Partly cloudy, warm for the daylight hours and at 86. It's a heat wave weather pattern Saturday. Lasts through the middle part of next week at 92 on Saturday. Mid, maybe even locally upper 90s Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Heat index values past 105. Some active thunderstorms get going in the second half of next week. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
John Decker. I want to talk to John Decker. He is the one we know. I want to talk to John Decker. He's at the White House in press room.
John Decker. I want to.
Yes, children now singing the song. Ladies and gentlemen, he was up for an Emmy Award. Looked pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm showing that now.
Clean up pretty good there, John, with your tux.
Worldwide camera, I'll put that on. There, look at John Decker.
Yes, to those who are watching at Stevie Jay FM on X.
Yeah, okay, anyway, GQ called. We got an interview with them, so got to get you on the GQ cover.
Snappy, dashing
exactly
fella.
what we'll do.
Too funny. Hey, Stevie, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, and it's great to have you back. Great Television's White House correspondent, best friends of the CEO, Hilton is his name. They're on first-name basis.
Yes.
John Decker, I don't know where to begin except that Israel took a hit overnight, apparently from the Iranians with a bigger, more powerful ballistic missile. 89 injured, no deaths at this point, 6 seriously. They're getting sirens every minute in Israel to get into the bomb shelter, so they're at least doing that. And they hit a hospital, whether targeted or not, or a miss, who knows. But I don't know. If you have air superiority over your opponent, I don't know what Iran has left.
Yeah, I don't know either. You know, it seems desperation to a certain extent. And Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has indicated that he believes he can reach all of his goals for this mission, if you want to call it that, within 2 to 3 weeks. So I think that's one of the reasons, Stevie, why, the President Trump, is taking his time in terms of making a decision about whether or not to involve the U.S. in this military conflict. If Israel can just take care of the matter themselves, there's no reason for any type of U.S. involvement.
Well, and I'm thinking, okay, so if Israel doesn't need the bunker buster, they can go into the facility, because all you do is you say, around the entire facility, I'm going to bomb you if I see anybody coming. Nobody can stop you. So I don't know, does Israel want us to do the B-52?
I don't know. That's a very good question. And that's what the president and his national security team have been debating, about whether or not to inject themselves into this conflict, whether to use one of those so-called bunker-busting bombs, 30,000-pound bombs to destroy nuclear facilities that Iran has throughout the country. Israel seems to be, pretty doing well on their own. I don't know if that's necessary, but that is what the president has been threatening. He's been mulling it over for a few days now. He's been cryptic about whether or not to actually use U.S. military forces or have the U.S. military involved in this conflict. And, he says, essentially, you'll know when I make a decision. And that also is sending a cryptic message to Iran as well.
And aren't we involved anyway? I mean, really?
Well, we're involved in the sense that, yes, there's a lot of military equipment that is provided to Israel that they purchase from the U.S. So if that's what you're referring to, yes. And we know whose side the U.S. is on. And interestingly enough, I saw this at the recent G7 summit. You had some European countries that typically do not come out publicly in support of Israel. And you had Germany's chancellor saying, we like what Israel's doing. That was a first. I haven't seen that in quite some time. And so it's good that they have Israel's back as well.
I don't think anybody wants boots on the ground for sure, but it sounds it sounds like you really have a hand. Israel's got such the upper hand right now. I'm thinking that they can do this themselves. We'll be right there with them. And then the problem with all of this, and we learned it in Iraq, is what's next. And if it's Colin Powell famously said, if you do this, you're going to own it. So I don't think we ought to put the next leader in place, but I'm not sure what would happen.
Yeah, I think that is those are all considerations for the United States. They're considerations for Israel as well. If you have goals, what are those goals? When you achieve those goals, are you done? Are you done in terms of being involved in this conflict? And for Israel, I don't know specifically what their goals are. Obviously, they want to diminish, if not defeat, Iran and its nuclear capabilities. And according to Netanyahu, they can do that within a very limited amount of time, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think is next? I mean, this could be any day, any week. It's really hard to know.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I think it's more like any day, in terms of what happens next. That's the reason why there is so much attention focused on President Trump. He spoke yesterday twice, to media availabilities. Each time he really didn't give any information that was useful to our adversaries, to Iran, really keeping them guessing, so to speak, Stevie, in terms of what action or non-action the U.S. may take.
Okay, that's that. Oh, what's going on at the Rose Garden? They're making a ballroom? Is that what I saw the construction?
No, I don't think that's the ballroom. I think what they're doing there, if you down at Mar-a-Lago, they have flagstone. And I think what he's doing is he's removing all the grass that lined the Rose Garden right outside the Oval Office, and he's replacing it, ultimately will be replacing it with flagstone. So that is a look that the president likes. It's a look that exists down at Mar-a-Lago, and he's trying to replicate that look at the White House as well. The president also this week made some changes to the White House because there are now these two flagpoles, one on the front lawn, one in the rear lawn, that were just installed this past week.
Wow. Okay. And when's the ballroom going up, and who's paying?
I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer to that. He wants the ballroom. I don't know when the ballroom's going up. I don't know where the ballroom's going.
Yeah, right.
For that matter.
Plenty of room out there, though, right?
No, there really isn't a lot of room. I mean, I guess you could say if you really want to extend the White House with the grounds that it has, there's room. But it's a footprint that I think all of us are used to seeing, and I can't imagine that footprint and being enlarged. But look, I'm not an architect. I don't know what the president may have in mind.
Is the Obama basketball court still up?
I don't know if he ever had a basketball court. Now, you know what President Trump did do? I like this, Stevie. I would love to play on this. He and the First Lady really improved the tennis court at the White House. I would love to play on that tennis court, I'll tell you that.
Is it grass? Is it clay?
No, it's hard court.
Okay.
It's hard court, but still, I mean, it's playing at the White House. What a thrill that would be.
Yeah, it would be. Is the bowling alley still up, the Dick Nixon Pokemon?
Bowling alley's still there,
Wow.
yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. All right, it's John
I don't know if the president uses that.
Richard Nixon liked that, I think.
He did like that, yes.
It's John Decker, White House correspondent for Gray Television, national correspondent all over the place. If you were asked to go to Tel Aviv, would you? I mean, is that something that Gray Television would send their top guy to?
It's a very good question. I'm not. You have to know what you are. I'm not a war correspondent. I see someone that I know very well, Trey Yingst, who used to work, who works at Fox, and I used to work at Fox, and he does a great job, and he is a war correspondent. That's what he does. I'm a White House correspondent, and I think you just have to know what you do well and what you do best. I think Clint Eastwood in one of his movies said it best. You know what he said, Stevie? He said, "A man's got to know his limitations."
There you go.
And
and I don't know how good you.
I live by that credo.
I'm not sure the tux and the Kevlar Army helmet on your head would look the same as their tux. So,
yeah,
all right. So, is
right.
the big beautiful bill? Does that have a chance?
Oh, it has a chance. Absolutely. Now, I don't know if it's going to meet that July the 4th deadline, and that's an artificial deadline. To me, whether it meets it or not, it's not really going to impact President Trump and what he wants to see. But I do think it ultimately will pass out of the Senate. It needs to be then reconciled with what came out of the House. But I believe that by the end of this year, by the end of the president's first year of his second term, he will have a bill on his desk to sign. I can't tell you the exact timing in terms of whether all of that will take place, but I do believe the president, just like in his first year of his first term, signed that big tax cut bill. In the first year of his second term, I believe he's going to be doing the same.
And if he doesn't, they're saying it's like a huge tax increase. Is that correct?
Well, it is in the sense that there are tax cuts that are due to expire at the end of this year in December. So, I guess by definition, if they expire, then taxes will rise. And I think that is an accurate description of what will happen. So that's the pressure that they're putting on Republicans that are on the fence. And they're on the fence for various reasons. Some believe that it cuts too much out of the Medicaid program. Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins fit into that camp. There's some that say it doesn't cut enough. How are you paying for the tax cuts? So there's some work to do in the Senate, but I think ultimately that bill will pass out of the Senate. They just need to make some changes in terms of satisfying all of those various members of the Republican conference in the Senate so that they can get their vote.
Okay, because if you have the House, you have the Senate, even though it's slim, and of course the White House. If you can't get it in now, you can't get it done. Period.
You can't. Yeah, if you can't get it in the first year, you're not going to get it done at all. But I do look. Maybe I'm overly optimistic. I do believe that it will get done in his first year. The bill that the president signs won't look exactly like what came out of the House, and it won't look exactly what comes out of the Senate. But he'll get a bill, and he'll be satisfied with that. And the president, he'll describe it as a big victory.
And the CBO is not right all the time, for Pete's sakes, right? I mean,
they're not all right all the time. Look. That's one of the concerns for some, Rand Paul, that it adds $3 trillion to our debt. And the debt's pretty high. It's $36 trillion, So that's one of the reasons why the president always is calling on the Fed to lower interest rates, because the U.S. has to pay interest on our debt. And, with high interest rates, those service payments are really substantial. They would come down substantially if interest rates came down.
All right, John Decker, we go back to Vietnam. Remember the San Francisco, Haight-Ashbury, the whole thing, the hippie look, the anti-war. I mean, those, I would wager now that not one of them was paid to come and agitate a crowd. They didn't. It was totally authentic. They were angry about a lot of things.
Right.
In the Vietnam, but these days
it's organic.
These are a lot of hired hands. This doesn't feel like the real deal to me.
Yeah, well, look, are there some professional agitators in the mix? Absolutely. They thrive on that. They go to where the protests are. They go, protests are in Minneapolis today. Let's go to Minneapolis. Protests are in Seattle. Let's go to Seattle. Protests are in Portland. Protests are in Los Angeles. So, yeah, those professional agitators, they go to where the action is. There are some people, for sure, that are organically protesting the president's policies. It's not everyone, but, there are individuals that always thrive on trying to be agitators, and that's an unfortunate thing.
But you get them on microphone, you're going, "Oh, honey, we need a doctor." Some of these people, John, they got a lot of problems. The way they talk, it's like the people get in front of these. Let my people go. Let my people go. These are criminal, legal aliens, and you're ready to get run over by. It's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, look, this is. In our country, we have the right to protest, thanks to the First Amendment. You just can't get violent. And it seems like things have calmed down quite a bit in Los Angeles, haven't they,
right.
Stevie?
Yep.
Over the course of the past week and a half or so. And the president says, well, that's because I federalized the National Guard and sent them in there. That's the reason why things calmed down there. He might be right, in terms of what he says.
I think you see the force that they had, and you've empowered our police again, and to where they're just, maybe they're not as interested in getting hurt. And then what what's the sheriff of Brevard County or something said, here's what's going to happen to you. We'll notify your next of kin. It's just like
laying down the law.
And nobody knows who Buford Pusser is, so I couldn't reference Buford Pusser and Walking Tall. So anyway, it's you have the some of this ridiculous stuff that these people are doing.
How about here's another Buford, right? Buford T. Justice, right? Remember Buford?
Oh, that was in Dukes of Hazzard, was it?
That was in Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit. Jackie Gleason, Burt Reynolds.
There you go.
Oh, that was real movie making, kids.
That's
movie making. All right, so what are you looking forward to next week? What's on your docket?
Well, next week at this time, Stevie, I'll be in the Netherlands. I'll be there for the NATO summit. So I leave tomorrow for the Netherlands. I'll be in Amsterdam for a day, and then the NATO summit is actually in The Hague. That's where the president will be, and it's going to be an interesting few days. The president meeting with NATO allies, urging them to spend more on defense. They'll talk about the war in Ukraine for sure. They'll talk about the role of the NATO Defense Alliance and the threat that Russia poses to the alliance. So that is what is on my agenda over the course of the next week.
I got Hilton on the other line. No, we're not going to Tel Aviv. I've got Hilton. No Tel Aviv. It's going to double your salary.
Yeah.
No, Hilton, no. Triple? Triple.
Have you been to Amsterdam, John?
You've been there.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, it's a pretty cool town, pretty cool city.
But that Amsterdam
I know-
airport takes about a half an hour to find your gate. There's shopping malls. It's nuts.
Yeah, you're right. It is all consolidated there.
Shuffle, something, airport. No, you're fit for what you're doing. You're terrific at it. You're a journalist that asks really, really good questions for both sides of the aisle. Nobody knows how you vote. That's how it should be. Period.
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, look, like I said, there are great war correspondents, and I mentioned Trey just because I know him and knew him when he started out. He's doing a phenomenal job, and that's what his thing is. And he's good at it, and I leave that to the people that are out there doing it and know exactly what they're doing. He travels to the war zones. He's been in Ukraine.
But why?
He's been in,
what are we doing?
Why?
I mean on his vacation.
An adrenaline thing.
I guess, but what when he goes on vacation, he does bungee jumping? What are you doing? I don't get this.
I don't know.
It's just nuts.
I don't know. That's a good question. When you go on vacation, if you're him, I go to a beach and just relax, right?
But he's going to look over his shoulder. Somebody's coming. It's crazy, the kind of mentality and it's bravery stuff. But, boy, as far as your family's concerned, they're not wanting you to go to a war zone. They're nuts.
No.
Anyway.
No, and look, wars are not safe, unfortunately. We got so many instances of individuals that are well-known war correspondents who've lost their lives or lost limbs, because of covering a war and doing what it is that they love. But, with war, you just never know what's going to happen.
John Decker, great television's outstanding journalist, war correspondent, national correspondent, White House spokesman. He knows where the coffee is at the White House.
Yes,
I think
he
that's
does.
So
I
cool.
do.
I
can tell you that, Stevie. When you come to the White House, I'll show you where it is.
I would like to come, except they'd probably...
Well, you got to make that a plan.
Well,
right?
I mean, I didn't know the process. How do I get to come to the White House? How does that even work?
Well, first you got to book your trip to D.C.
Yep.
Hey, broadcast from D.C. And then I'll get you into a White House press briefing.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Hi, Carolyn. How are you so good? How are you so good? I mean, my question. How are you so good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think...
Well, you know what's funny? See, I'll tell you this really quickly. I brought some of my students to a White House press briefing, and they just had an opportunity to meet with Caroline Leavitt.
Wow.
Took pictures with her,
Yeah.
and that reaction that you just made a joke of, that was their reaction. They're like, "Oh my God!" They couldn't believe it. Star power.
I would be Chris Farley all over again.
Clint Eastwood. Remember when?
What? That song was so good. It was so good.
And then, the person is just sitting there going,
Absolutely.
What's the question?
No questions. Hey, John Decker, keep it up, my friend.
Thanks, Stevie. Thanks, Diane. Have a great day, a great weekend. We'll figure it out to talk to you from the Netherlands next week.
Terrific.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. John Decker, great friend and great journalist. ESPN 93.5, great television's top guy. 7:52. We got weather coming up. Then Nathaniel's Sun Weather now brought to you by Kramer Siding and Window.
Your premier provider for home improvements. If you need gutters, a new door, if you'd like a pergola on the patio, or all kinds of home improvement options, kramersiding.com.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather. Free Central Illinois, Champaign, Van Evans, Saturday. Well, clean up and recovery coming off the 55 to 65 mile per hour winds. And yeah, some of those tornadic producing thunderstorms doing just that, originating around the Macomb area, Jacksonville to Sangamon County, back up to around the Rantoul area through a better part of Champaign County with a couple of touchdowns and numerous funnel clouds and even twisters reported around the Peoria area for our efforts, if you will, just a quarter to 3/4 of an inch in the gauge from that squall line. Quieter day's worth of weather. Humidity eases on down. Maybe a sprinkle to the north and east this morning. Maybe a sprinkle this afternoon. Partly sunny at 83. 65 for tonight. First day of summertime tomorrow evening, 9:42. Partly cloudy, warm for the daytime hours, and at 86. It's a heat wave weather pattern Saturday. Last through the middle part of next week at 92 on Saturday. Mid, maybe even locally upper 90s Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Heat index values past 105. Some active thunderstorms get going in the second half of next week. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Here's another home improvement insight from Kramer Siding and Window, a proud member of Prairie Home Alliance. A new front door can instantly upgrade the look of your home and make it more energy efficient. The Kramer Siding and Window team can also install French doors to your deck or patio, welcoming the outside in, or storm doors for an extra layer of protection against the elements. The estimate is free, financing is available, and the business is local. Schedule your beautiful new door today and save 25%. Call us, click on kramersiding.com, or visit the showroom in Champaign.
Thursdays, we call it Did You Know? My son is in Chicago. His name is Nathaniel. We call him Nathaniel's son. So you know who he is. Fantastic master's degree, civil engineer, University of Illinois, works for Braun Russo. But before he goes to work on Thursdays, here he is, Papa. His now new title is Dad to Josephine Gray and his lovely Allison, his wife. Well, it is 5 before the hour on a heat wave coming to the Middle West. Going to be over 100 degrees heat index for 5 days, Nathaniel, coming up. Man.
I know. Time to break out the air conditioning units, make sure everything is tuned up and ready to go.
Yes, sir.
Because, it's certainly going to be wanted in the house.
Yep. Okay. What do you got here today?
Well, this morning we're going to look back at a holiday that we all celebrated this past weekend, because we did talk about the history of Mother's Day. And it's important for us also to look at the history of Father's Day and how it actually came to be pretty much in parallel paths with Mother's Day. If we remember, we remember back about a month, we learned that Mother's Day was originally proposed and then eventually became law by Woodrow Wilson in 1914. A woman by the name of Anna Jarvis pushed to celebrate her mother, who was mother of many children. Now, while mothers were being celebrated on the second Sunday of May, a woman around the same time, early 1900s, by the name of Sonora Smart of Spokane, Washington, had the thought that she thought fathers should be celebrated too. Herself, as one of 6 children raised by a single father who was a veteran of the Civil War, she started lobbying for the celebration of fathers, mostly around her local church. And in 1910, she proposed to her pastor that we should do a Sunday that celebrates fathers. She originally proposed it being June 5th, which was her father's birthday, but the pastor said he couldn't get the sermon ready, so he said, let's do it on the 3rd Sunday in June. Now, unlike the drastic rise in popularity to celebrate mothers, Father's Day actually had a much slower start. The general sentiment back then is that fathers just don't have the same sentimental appeal that mothers have. Woodrow Wilson attempted to also sign the holiday into law in 1913, but Congress actually halted progress out of fears that the holiday would become too commercialized. It wasn't until 1966 that Lyndon B. Johnson issued a presidential proclamation declaring that the 3rd Sunday in June, in honor of that sermon 50 years earlier, would be honored to celebrate fathers.
I'll be darned. Never knew anything about that. 50 years later from the sermon. Well, it's pretty important, I think, in the construct to have a dad that is good. And it's a tough one because there's so many problems we have. It starts at home, and it sure helps when you have a mom and a dad.
That's right.
No question about that. But yeah, no, I chose my father pretty well. Father and mother pretty darn well.
Me too.
Yeah, anyway, that's great. And you had your first Father's Day. How'd that feel?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was, Allison did just a lot of very nice things. Very nice to just have a day of encouragement, really.
Really good dad, Nathaniel. You love your daughter, and she loves you. How much is she smiling now? Like all the time?
No, goodness. I was out camping for a couple days earlier this week, and I came back, and I saw Josie for the first time when I walked in yesterday, and she just had this big grin that just on her face when I walked in. And really, there's just nothing else like that in the world. Right. And Dad, honestly, I didn't understand that. It's really something you can't comprehend until you have a child.
Yeah, and I think we're feeling that with grandparenting now too.
That's right.
It's just a different deal. So,
well, and your Father's Day was so special with people gathered around the cello.
Yeah,
and even Jacob giving it around.
Yeah, that was. My mom taught piano for a long, long time and played the cello even longer. And we were trying to do the cello, and she was covering her face. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. Anyway, no, it was. But she can't hear much, but she played from memory "Abide in Me," and it was, unbelievable that she could remember where her fingers go for that song. She hasn't played cello for probably 5 years because her hearing isn't very good. So anyway, Nathaniel's son, outstanding. We always appreciate hearing your voice and getting information we did not know.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Talk soon. Nathaniel's son in Chicago. Did you know?
ESPN 93.5.
All right. The news is next. We'll do Fox. We'll do Jim Miller. We'll get Greg's heat wave forecast again. Just know you got, listen, if if you want to call one of your HVC favorites, if it goes down,
I know.
There are going to be 9,000 people ahead of you.
That's right.
Now, it might be too late to get the checkup because and it all starts Saturday and this is Thursday. But maybe the phones, you don't understand what happens to phones. They're going crazy. They only have so many people.
Right.
And they're not going to get to you. And these guys, by the way, hug your HVAC guy because they're going to be in dangerous attics, crawl spaces. I mean, talk about your underappreciated work.
Uh-huh.
All right, that's Diane Ducey.
Good morning.
And I'm Stevie J. It's 8 o'clock. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Will Iran's supreme leader be targeted soon? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Israel's defense minister said today in order to achieve all their goals, the Ayatollah should not continue to exist. After another barrage of Iranian missiles sent Israelis into bomb shelters, and some of those missiles got through the Iron Dome defense. Fox's Mike Tobin in an area of Tel Aviv that took a direct hit.
The damage here stretches over several blocks. You've got a lot of apartment buildings, businesses, retail that are in here. The balconies are destroyed. Windows are broken out for blocks around the impact zone. Also, Holon on the south side of Tel Aviv. That's an older residential area. That took a direct hit. And a hospital called Soroka in the southern part of Israel was hit.
That's Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's place now. You just visited that site.
In this hospital, there are patients who are immobile. They can't even move. Right next to it is a children's ward, a baby's ward, infants. They targeted.
And he says that's the difference in the conflict with Iran.
Israel is fighting to remove the nuclear and missile threat aimed at our annihilation.
As President Trump considers helping Israel's military, some in Congress demand he wait for their approval. Many Republicans disagree.
I believe the president has full authority.
GOP Senator John Barrasso tells Fox
Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. He said it strongly. He's read it repeatedly because he knows that Iran with a nuclear weapon is a threat to the people of the United States.
Hurricane Eric has been battering Mexico's southwest coast all night into the morning, and a short time ago, the eye finally made landfall.
It's skirting the coast, and think of all of those winds affecting all of those communities, resort areas, a lot of timeshares here, and a lot of people who live here, too.
Fox Weather's Craig Herrera. Eric was a Category 4 hurricane. Now its top winds down to 125 miles an hour. Catastrophic flooding is a concern as well. In West Virginia, it's up to 8 deaths in flash flooding over the weekend in the Wheeling area. Homes and businesses destroyed. Some roads washed out, leaving cars underwater. America's listening to Fox News.
You're great at protecting your personal information. You might even use things like two-factor authentication and strong passwords. But as much as you try to control how your info's protected, there are other places that also have it, and they may not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name Clay as the promo code at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
The Trump administration has been wary of foreign students here in the U.S. after all the pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel protests on college campuses. And now those who want to come here to study face even more scrutiny.
The State Department is directing U.S. diplomats to screen the social media and online presence of all foreign nationals applying for student visas. That means visa applicants will have to make their social media accounts public. The Trump administration wants diplomats to review posts for signs of hostility towards the U.S., support for terrorism, or anti-Semitic content. Any concerning findings won't automatically disqualify applicants, but may lead to further review. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
As the Trump administration ramps up immigration raids and deportations that are being protested in Los Angeles and other cities, an illegal immigrant is accused of threatening a federal prosecutor.
It happened to John Sarcone, U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of New York, outside an Albany hotel. Cops arresting 40-year-old Saul Morales Garcia, who they say has a lengthy criminal record and who had been previously deported, after he lunged at him, intending to slit his throat. Sarcone managed to run to safety and was not injured. Albany County Sheriff's deputies quickly taking Morales Garcia into custody. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Failure to launch at SpaceX. What you just heard is a rocket with a new Starship capsule on top blowing up in Texas last night before another test flight. A fireball went high in the sky. The flames burned for 2 hours. SpaceX says no staffers were injured in the explosion. 3 recent test flights of that new SpaceX Starship also failed with explosions in the sky. On Wall Street, the opening bell will not ring this hour at the New York Stock Exchange or at the NASDAQ. There's no trading because it's Juneteenth, the federal holiday. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Healthy Living Spas invite you to the 4th Annual Hot Tub Expo this Friday through Sunday at Carl at the Fields in Champaign. 3 days only with unbeatable deals. Save an extra $500 on any hot tub or $1,000 on any swim spa. Special financing available too. Doors open Friday 2 to 7, Saturday 11 to 7, and Sunday noon to 5. The 4th Annual Hot Tub Expo this weekend at Carl at the Fields in Champaign.
Here's a look at local news. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and this month a Central Illinois health professional wants to make sure you know the severity of the issue. The CDC found in 2023 nearly 80% of suicides committed by men. In 2022, more than 39,000 men died because of it. A man charged in a Rand Tool shooting last fall, Mecky Ross, was arrested on the charge of aggravated battery with a firearm. October 28th in the 1100 block of Prairie View Drive, a man later arrived at a hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Police say the shooting stemmed from a verbal altercation. Dozens waiting in line to make their voices heard at the Urbanus Committee of the Whole meeting and public hearing Monday night. The majority of committee speakers focused on proposed funding increases for the police department. The budget proposes adding 3 patrol officers and a sergeant to supervise the community engagement team. That's what's happening on your Thursday. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Joe Miller.
Invest in yourself with free rewards checking from Fisher National Bank. Instead of losing a little each month in fees, wouldn't it be nice to earn on your money? Switch to Fisher National. They offer excellent annual percentage yields with no minimum service fees or minimum balance. Just make 12 debit card purchases, receive electronic statements, and have 1 direct deposit a month. It's as easy as that to maximize on your money with a bank ready to invest in you. Learn more at FisherNational.com. Fisher National Bank. Exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC.
All right, we check your weather and the heat wave, which is coming. We know it's happening. I think we have till what, Saturday maybe, Mr. Greg Solier?
Yeah, well, we'll get through Saturday. Well, probably till Saturday, and that's when it ramps on up around here. We'll build this big, expansive hot dome, compress the air, get a south wind on the backside of that, at least surface high, and between wet grounds, Gulf moisture, and temps ranging from the low to mid 90s to start to the mid to upper 90s at the high point, probably Monday, Tuesday next week. That'll be the worst of the heat index values. Most days will be up well north of 100, some days to 105, and the peak days will be probably 108 to 110. Not to mention that's going to make it even more challenging with the cleanup, assessment, and kind of storm-related survey of what's gone on across the area the past 12 to 18 hours. Backside of that high, as it begins to weaken, we cool up aloft. We could be into another round of violent weather late next week, too. In the meantime, we're in the 60s, a partly sunny day on tap, couple sprinkles north of Champaign, both this morning and maybe this afternoon. 83 the high, 65 tonight, up to around 86 tomorrow. Summertime clocks in tomorrow night, 9:42 with a low down muggier, 71, then a high of 92 on Saturday, 95 on Sunday, mid to upper 90s Monday and Tuesday, still north of 90, more humidity, maybe a couple of thunderstorms over parts of the area next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. For TVJ Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola sells Tempur-Pedic beds. What's it like?
I'm going to tell you right now, Stevie, that thing is the best thing I've ever slept on in my life. My wife and I both have said we've never had better night's sleep. And the people at Kelsey's were fantastic. Brian is the guy that helped us. You know, as much as I did my research, he had a world of knowledge about beds themselves. Oh, man, it's like sleeping on a cloud, man.
Kelsey Furniture, downtown Tuscola.
Next week on an all-new Law and Order. Order! We convene here for case 217, Spring Green versus Weeds. Spring Green, the floor is yours.
The weeds are infectious. The weeds steal the beauty from your lawn. We offer personalized lawn care, a mid-season checkup, and a simple and transparent process. Just click on to spring-green.com for a quote.
Okay, Spring Green wins. Weeds, you're out.
That's spring-green.com.
Get ready, St. Louis. The Cubs are coming to town. June 23rd through the 26th. The Cardinals host baseball's best rivalry at Busch Stadium in a series that always delivers. The Chicago STL rivalry is legendary, and the energy in the ballpark will be electric. It's the perfect way to spend a summer day or night at the ballpark with passionate fans and nonstop action. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/tickets.
Hey, this is Sonny Gray. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Stevie J here. With Nate Evans of eXp Realty, you'll always get a stress-free sale for the most money.
Sell your home with Nate. Pick the price, pick the day. Go to theNateEvansGroup.com.
You know where all our nuclear facilities are, Diane?
No.
Russia does.
Okay.
China does. I don't understand. I guess it's spy work and everything else, but Fox News just showed all 12 of where Iran's nuclear sites are. Wow. How's everybody know that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is that good to put it out there? I mean, I guess.
Well, they don't put it out there. These are reports from people that went and found out where they are. And so we have intelligence on the ground. We have people that know. We have satellites. We have all this stuff far beyond my comprehension. But just the fact that, for about 10 minutes, they showed every facility. And that's what Israel's targeting. Iran is hitting back, and they apparently injured 89 overnight. Nobody died. Those sirens are going off. If you've heard any news coverage, you've heard those sirens in Israel. And you just go to the bomb shelter. It'd be like, okay, honey, time to have a drink of milk. Go to your bomb shelter. That's their life.
Wow.
They have had missiles shot into that country. Just not anything accurate, just blow something their way. The goal has been, for a couple of decades now, to kill all Jews. They want to eliminate the state of Israel. That's their policy. And that's their religion. Whatever it is, they want to wipe them off the map. And so guess what? Israel's really good at defense because their life depends on it. So when you figure out for a decade how you're going to put pagers in the pockets of terrorists and then have them go off without killing people around them, that's amazing. That's amazing. They worked on that for like a dozen years. And it worked. Imagine being a bad guy saying, here, hold this phone. No, I don't want to touch that thing, man. Last one blew up in my pocket.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, my gosh. So, well, Israel's really, 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 really good.
I just did an online search to U.S. nuclear weapons, and the map came up.
Okay, everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Welcome to our nuclear site. Now, listen, and the thing is the reason 80% of the world, Republicans, Democrats, we're the other 20, probably in the streets yelling, yeah, let my people go. I mean, I don't get it. How could you not want to not let Tehran have a bomb? Because it'll go, and then we're going to have nuclear war. And then we probably destroy ourselves. I mean, that's kind of the future. If you want to let Iran have a nuclear. Oh, it's for energy. Bull.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Come on, man. And then this morning, another story comes out where there are now 27 states, the Supreme Court has backed it up, that you can't do surgery changing gender work on minors, on kids. And it was only 6-3 in the Supreme Court.
Oh, wow.
There's only 27 states that ban surgery on a 6-year-old for changing their sex.
What?
The 27 states are all red. Illinois, I'm sure it's fine. But what? Tell me, this is the disconnect. I think you're crazy. I think you're out of your mind if you think a 7-year-old should make a choice on what sex they are and have surgery for it and not have to tell the parents. What is that about? I mean, I'm not making that up.
I mean, you have to have parental consent as a minor to fill out all the forms and get the insurance going. And
why isn't an 8-year-old allowed to drive? They're not old enough to decide stuff. I mean, you just it is. I don't. It's mind-boggling. The Constitution protects. No, the parent protects the child. Wow. That's the stuff we're dealing with today that you can't make it up. I can go make a bunch of stuff up, come and tell you and say, that's stupid. Okay, it's real. In the case of children, it's amazing. It's just pure evil is what it is. Pure evil. Confused child, and you go take their breast off, and they do all this. I don't get it. Stunned. You're always welcome to text. Good morning.
A little morning therapy going on here on ESPN 93.5.
But I mean, is it not? Please tell me how that's not out of your mind to support that. How do the 3 Supreme Court liberals possibly think that's a good idea? Please tell me. Oh, the law. No bullcrap on the law. Use common sense. He's a child. Mm-hmm. He's 7. 217-359-2255. Please. Let me know what you're thinking on the Fisher National Bank text line. We go to our sports headlines.
Well, there was a text in talking about the frustrations of renewing the driver's license plates for the car, receive a notice from the SOS saying I could renew by phone, given a registration ID, a PIN number, called in numerous times, hearing a recording. They could not capture my ID, tried several times to no success.
I would suggest using the link coming on your email. I renew all the time that way. And very quickly.
Okay.
I get them in 4
There you go, Rick.
4 days, Rick. Don't mess with the phone. You'll never find a human. Ever.
A lemonade stand runs more efficiently than the state of Illinois. Pathetic.
There's some really good lemonade stands, too. Please patronize them.
I agree. Well, we have a doubleheader today here on ESPN 93.5 because things were rained out. There was not good weather yesterday. St. Louis Cardinals and Chicago White Sox doing old-fashioned style, right?
Yeah. No, here's a recap.
The Redbird Recap is sponsored by Helitech Waterproofing and Foundation Repair. Heal your home with Helitech.
The Cardinals and White Sox were scheduled to play a game yesterday in Chicago, but that did not happen as a result of rain. So instead, the two teams are going to play a traditional doubleheader today. Pitching matchup in game number 1, Eric Fetty, who was pitching for the White Sox last season before being traded to the Cardinals, he is set to make the start. He enters the game with a 3-6 record, a 3.65 ERA. Rookie Sean Burke will go for the White Sox. He's 3-7 with a 4.71 ERA. You get to call up an extra player for a doubleheader, and for the Cardinals, they are going to call up pitcher Michael McGreevy. He is going to start the second game of the Twin Bill this year, 1-1 with a 3.09 ERA in his big league time. 1:10 first pitch for game number 1. Game 2 will start 30 to 45 minutes after the completion of game number 1. Our coverage at 12:15. For the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network, I'm Matt Pauley.
Well, the Cubs also had bad weather, so the Milwaukee Brewers-Cubs games will be made up on August 18th. But today we have a day game with the first pitch at 1:20 over on US 105.9. ABC at 7:30 for Game 6 in the NBA Finals. Oklahoma City ahead 3-2. The game will take place in Indianapolis against the Pacers.
All right, that's sports. ESPN 93.5. We've got your Fox Business here coming up. See how the market's going to open. We'll have that for you coming up next. Summer means pools, picnics, and relaxation. It's also a perfect time for a mid-year financial checkup. If you've fallen behind on your goals, Busey can help you get back on track. Rethink Big Goals, a checklist, calculators, resources found on Busey.com/mortgage. Great tools to see if you're on track for saving for retirement, college, and major purchases. Have you been sticking to your budget? Don't say what budget. Have you been sticking to your budget? Plan to pay off debt as swiftly as your cash flow allows. No time like the present to ensure your estate planning wishes are documented. Get creative with new and unique passwords, please. Whatever your financial goal, Busey can help you from retirement planning to funding your child's college education and anything in between. Enjoy your summer free from financial worries. To work towards achieving your financial goals today, go to Busey.com. Stop by one of their many convenient locations. Investment products and services are not FDIC insured, may lose value no bank guarantee for over 155 years. It's Ben Busey, member FDIC.
Urbana's Market at the Square has been cultivating a vibrant scene in CU since 1979. Get to know your farmers bringing locally harvested honey, crafts, jewelry, art, fresh cut flowers, plus produce including fresh leafy greens and root vegetables, fresh baked treats, and a wide selection of proteins. Going on now, every Saturday, 7 a.m. till noon, rain or shine at Illinois and Vine, it's Urbana Market at the Square. Find Urbana Market on Facebook or urbanamarket.org.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana vicinity. Hope one and all made it through A-OK on the barrage of severe weather late yesterday afternoon and evening time with numerous reports of 55 to 65 mile per hour winds. Some degree of hail, but it was the twister and funnel cloud activity with touchdowns into parts of Ford County around the Rantoul area. Some farm equipment damage there and westward to Springfield, back up to Tazewell County and south to Jacksonville, all originating out of the Macomb area yesterday mid-afternoon. Maybe a couple of raindrops around to the north and east this morning, maybe a sprinkle this afternoon on a partly sunny day's worth of weather at 83. Humidity slowly comes on down. Fair tonight 65, partly cloudy, warm tomorrow at 86. Low 70s, a muggy night tomorrow night, and a heat wave gets going on Saturday, lasts through the first half of next week. 92 on Saturday, maybe a morning thunderstorm. Hot and humid to say the least. Use care and caution Sunday through Tuesday. Mid-90s by day, mid-70s at night. For Stevie G Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
I'm Susan Lee, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The markets are closed today for the Juneteenth holiday. The Federal Reserve left interest rates unchanged yesterday again, with Fed Chair Jerome Powell expressing concern about how tariffs will impact prices. This morning, the Bank of England did the same, leaving its key interest rate unchanged. Though the bank says the tariff shock may have a smaller impact on the global economy than first estimated, now there's concern in England that a rise in oil prices from the Mideast conflict could push prices higher. The Bank of England says it will remain vigilant about the impact of the Middle East conflict on the UK economy. Cancer testing company Caris Life Sciences raised nearly $500 million in its stock launch yesterday. The business is based in Irving, Texas. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda, invested in you.
I'm Dana Perino. This week on Perino on Politics, I'm joined by the Senior Vice President of CRC Advisors, Matt Whitlock.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com. Must listen to podcasts from Fox News Audio.
I'm Emily Campagno, host of the Fox True Crime Podcast. This week, filmmaker and author Barry Averich joins me to discuss the shocking scandal that led to the demise of New York City's Knoedler Gallery.
Listen and follow now at foxtruecrime.com.
We're talking to John Reichert and Neil Asklin. I guess the first question for me, John, is what is it like being part of A&R, knowing how this all started? It was your grandfather, then your dad, and now you, and 100 years in business is hard. How do you explain that?
Well, it's incredible, honestly. When I was a boy, obviously, my father was running the company. It's always been, part of my life, but I knew that we had good people, at that time that worked for the company. I think with God's help and protection that we survived and, frankly, thrived.
I think the thrive is the key word here. Neil Asklin, I guess, let me ask you about your dad, Ken Asklin, who partnered with Dave, and they got it going in the 50s and kept it going, and you being part of the company.
I've been around since I was a young teenager, so something that I've grown to love, and the camaraderie and getting things done. And these huge projects that we're doing now just amazes me.
A&R Mechanical, a thriving leader 100 years later.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Scott Balo at our studios here in Philo. I'm Diane Ducey here on ESPN 93.5. The Motor Muster Car Show is coming up Saturday, June 21st, and this time at Cunningham Children's Home. after really decades of supporting Cunningham Children's Home. Great job, Scott.
Yeah, no, we've been supporting Cunningham Children's Home and giving the proceeds to them for over 15 years. So we've really enjoyed our relationship with them.
Mm-hmm. Just the history. 27 years you've been doing the Motor Muster.
Yeah, we had a few years off for COVID, but yep, we've been doing it this is our 27th time doing it. We were always the premier car show in town for the Urbana Sweet Corn Festival. We enjoyed being there, but we've had to move throughout, going to different locations through Champaign-Urbana, and this year we're able to do it at Cunningham Children's Home.
I think it's going to be cool on that campus. If people haven't had a chance to experience that, it's 1301 Cunningham. They do have like the Festival of Quilts, for instance, where you can come on the campus and experience that Spiritual Life Center. And I know that your relationship with Cunningham Children's Home, and there's been times where guys in the Illini Collector Car Club will bring their vehicles out for the kids to take a peek. It's really cool.
Yeah, so this is going to be even special for them because normally we'll have a little mini car show for them in June, but they have no idea what's coming. This June, it's going to be a lot of antique vehicles, specifically service vehicles, but not only limited to that, but it'll be also cars from 1910 all the way through 2000.
Man, when I think of service vehicles, there's an old tow truck and an old police car from looks like the maybe 40s or 50s, and the ambulance you have, which is like an extended station wagon look on your poster. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, we're going to have really cool cars out there. Some really nice classic cars that you're not going to normally see at the average car show. So we're very excited about doing this at Cunningham Children's Home in Urbana.
Okay, if someone wants to participate, they can register early or just register that day between 8 and 10:30 a.m.
At this point, they can just show up at the car show. There'll be signs marked on Cunningham Avenue for car show spectators as well as participants. There'll be a separate entrance for each person, whether they're showing cars or just coming to see the cars.
The awards are round 3. Typically, I'm on duty for that since my husband, Mike Anderson, has been treasurer for so many years with the Illini Collector Car Club. I'm happy to do that, and I really like the different categories of awards. Describe some of those.
We've got Best Stock Pre-32, we've got Best Chrysler, we've got Best Ford, we've got Best Modified. There's all sorts of different classes for your cars.
What's the orphan vehicle?
Orphan cars are no longer made.
I feel like you even have a nod to the young car owners these days.
Yes, we have a youngest car owner award. Typically, it's a person who is 16 and just gotten their car from their parents or something, inherited it, and so they get to drive a cool car to a show and get an award.
I love it. So once again, the 27th annual Motor Muster Car Show is coming up at Cunningham Children's Home Saturday, June 21st, 1301 Cunningham Avenue. If you want to get your vehicle in it, so up between 8 and 10:30 a.m. There's all kinds of door prizes. We really want to shout out Champaign Ford City for being a major sponsor and everybody who's contributed. And the Illini Collector Car Club is always looking for new members. You guys have meetings on what? The first
Tuesday of every month.
Okay, and it's 6:30?
6:30, and it varies according to location each month.
And so it's just an online search away if you need more details at Illini Collector Car Club. From plumbing warriors to air conditioning conquerors, Classic Plumbing and Air is here to help your home feel better than ever. Whether it's a quick fix or a full system upgrade, they'll show up with the tools, the tech, and the tenacity to get the job done right. Locally owned and operated, they deliver plumbing, cooling, and comfort. Call 217-586-7473 or visit classicplum.com. Classic Plumbing and Air, plumbing, cooling, and comfort. Visit them at classicplum.com.
Healthy Living Spas invite you to the 4th Annual Hot Tub Expo this Friday through Sunday at Carl at the Fields in Champaign. 3 days only with unbeatable deals. Save an extra $500 on any hot tub or $1,000 on any swim spa. Special financing available too. Doors open Friday 2 to 7, Saturday 11 to 7, and Sunday noon to 5. The 4th Annual Hot Tub Expo this weekend at Carl at the Fields in Champaign.
Are you or a loved one 65 and older and need to schedule your free annual Medicare wellness visit? An annual Medicare wellness visit allows you and your healthcare provider to establish a personalized prevention plan for your healthcare. Call your Christie Clinic primary care provider to learn more and schedule your free annual Medicare wellness visit. Stay well with Christie Clinic.
Make an appointment today at ChristieClinic.com and click on online scheduling. Take care of yourself and put your health first.
Now at Jets, order any 3-topping pizza and get $5 off. Just use promo code 3TOP when ordering. That's the number 3, TOP. Want to impress family and friends and spend less? Get creative and build your own 3-topping pizza with their favorites. Available in deep dish, thin crust, New York style, or hand toss round. Any 3-topping Jets pizza for $5 off with promo code 3TOP. It's a deal. Jets, better because it has to be.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Hey, all you backyard chefs and grill gurus, barbecue season is here, and I know that you're anxious to fire up that smoker or grill, but your yard needs mowed. Yes, your wife is getting hangry, but that grass isn't going to cut itself. What's an aspiring pitmaster going to do? Get the world's fastest mower, of course, a Dixie chopper from Dedicated Diesel in Urbana. They carry a full line of Dixie choppers from the Z2 and Magnum residential models up to the big Excalibur and classic commercial machines that can mow nearly 8 acres an hour. This is award-winning competition pitmaster Tim Onstott, and whether I'm cooking low and slow or hot and fast, I always have time to savor the flavor because my mowing time is cut down by Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest mower. Get your Dixie Chopper at Champaign-Urbana's only dealer, Dedicated Diesel, at 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana, 217-328-0562.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. The Israeli military is ordered to intensify airstrikes in Iran. Israel's health ministry reports at least 240 injuries in missile strikes from Iran.
Iranian missiles struck multiple locations across Israel, including a hospital in Beersheba where dozens were injured. In Holon, an apartment block has been left with its roof caved in. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has promised revenge against what he calls the tyrants in Iran's capital, Tehran.
As Fox's Jonathan Savage, Israel's defense minister says Iran's supreme leader cannot continue to exist. Hurricane Eric's made landfall on Mexico's Pacific coast as a major Category 3 storm.
It is expected to drop heavy rain, which could prompt life-threatening flash flooding and mudslides. Eric's effects will be felt in major tourist destinations like Acapulco, and local emergency officials have instructed tourists to shelter in their hotels.
Fox's Evan Brown. America's listening to Fox News.
From plumbing warriors to air conditioning conquerors, Classic Plumbing and Air is here to help your home feel better than ever. Whether it's a quick fix or a full system upgrade, they'll show up with the tools, the tech, and the tenacity to get the job done right. Locally owned and operated, they deliver plumbing, cooling, and comfort. Call 217-586-7473 or visit ClassicPlum.com. Classic Plumbing and Air, plumbing, cooling, and comfort. Visit them at ClassicPlum.com.
We're back. We have Paul Rican from Dick Van Dyke Appliance World on the air. Paul, what makes buying an appliance at Dick Van Dyke so special?
Well, Chris, it all starts with our service department. We have an in-house service team that's second to none. And Chris, is that a dog in the back?
Max, keep it down. Have a snack, buddy. Go ahead, Paul.
With our in-house service team, we have our free 10-year protection plan included on most appliance purchases.
Paul, sorry. Let me close the window here.
Should we start over? Or?
Nope, we are on the air.
All right, so with our free protection plan, we also give you a lifetime discount on the service call even after the 10 years runs out.
Hey, cut it out for a second. Sorry, Paul, I have a basement remodel going on. Did you say a service call discount for the life of the appliance? Uninterrupted discounted service?
Uninterrupted discounted service.
For the life of the appliance. Uninterrupted, huh? I like that.
No interruptions. The kind of service that makes Dad say, wow.
When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Jesse with Land's Drain Cleaning. Do you have your sewer line cleaned every year? Are you constantly getting roots or blockages? Why deal with that headache year after year? Call Land's Drain Cleaning today at 217-355-5512 to have our expert staff come out, clean your line. We give you a free camera inspection, show you what's wrong, where it's at, and then we can offer you a repair for that problem so you don't have to deal with it again. Land's Drain Cleaning. Why call anyone else?
Here's a look at local news. A man charged in a Rantoul shooting last fall. Mecky Ross was arrested on the charge of aggravated battery with a firearm. October 28th in the 1100 block of Prairie View Drive. A man later arrived at a hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Police say the shooting stemmed from a verbal altercation. Dozens waiting in line to make their voices heard at the Urbanus Committee of the Whole meeting and public hearing Monday night. The majority of community speakers focused on proposed funding increases for the police department. The budget proposes adding 3 patrol officers and a sergeant to supervise the community engagement team. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and this month a Central Illinois health professional wants to make sure you know the severity of the issue. The CDC found in 2023 nearly 80% of suicides committed by men. In 2022, more than 39,000 men died because of it. That's what's happening on your Thursday. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Joe Miller.
It seems like the cost of everything is on the rise. But Erie Insurance can help make sure your auto insurance premium isn't one of them. Avoid rate increases with Erie Rate Lock. Even if you have a claim, your rates won't go up until you change your car, driver, or address.
Your Erie agent in Champaign is Thomas & Ellers Insurance.
Erie Rate Lock is not available in all states. Other conditions and limitations at erieinsurance.com. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois, Champaign and vicinity. Hope one and all made it through A-OK on the barrage of severe weather late yesterday afternoon and evening time with numerous reports of 55 to 65 mile per hour winds. Some degree of hail, but it was the twister and funnel cloud activity with touchdowns into parts of Ford County around the Rantoul area. Some farm equipment damage there and westward to Springfield, back up to Tazewell County and south to Jacksonville, all originating out of the Macomb area yesterday mid-afternoon. Maybe a couple of raindrops around to the north and east this morning, maybe a sprinkle this afternoon on a partly sunny day's worth of weather at 83. Humidity slowly comes on down. Fair tonight 65, partly cloudy, warm tomorrow at 86. Low 70s, a muggy night tomorrow night, and a heat wave gets going on Saturday, lasts through the first half of next week. 92 on Saturday, maybe a morning thunderstorm. Hot and humid to say the least. Use care and caution Sunday through Tuesday. Mid-90s by day, mid-70s at night. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
And now, a brand new show called Smoke, where we help you with your grill and making the best meat ever. With award-winning competition pitmaster Tim Onstadt. Smoke in Tim's Grill. He's the best brisket maker ever. Smoke in Tim's Grill. And now award-winning competition pitmaster Tim Onstadt, still recovering from his knee injury and still hobbled for last weekend's big tournament when they finished 4th in chicken. Come on, man. Tim Onstadt, what's up, bub?
Hey, we're healing.
Yeah. Just the whole recovery thing. People don't understand that when you do these things, you generally don't sleep because Tim's checking the meat at 212 degrees at 3:30 in the morning. What? Can't you get a sous? Can I be the sous chef? And you get people for that, and you sleep your 10 o'clock till 6 a.m. or something.
Yeah. I get more sleep than I used to. We cook hot and fast, so I don't light the fire till about 4:30 in the morning in a competition.
Wow.
So, but hey, Diane.
Yep.
What is the worst? What is the thing you dislike most about chicken breasts on the grill?
Not too many.
It comes out. It's hard to get it done where it's not peeking to center, but then if you do that, you tend to get it dry, and it comes out dry and still got some flavor. Well, and I'm passing this on because it's something I didn't know until I started competing and learning from some of these world-class people. But chicken brining is very important, and it's a very important part of the process. And it's something that you can do at home that is so easy and I don't know if I was just stupid or people know about this or what, I'd never heard much about it. I've heard of marinating chicken, but that's not quite the same as brining it. And so I'd like to pass on one of the things that I've learned, and that's how to brine chicken. And what we do is first we and of course we're only cooking the thighs or the legs for a competition, depending on where we're at or what we're doing. But you can do this at home for breasts, for the whole chicken. But we take a meat tenderizer called a jacquard. Just looks like a little stamp with a bunch of knives sticking down in the bottom, and poke a bunch of holes in the chicken. Then we're putting it in a brine. We use specific barbecue brines like What the Cluck, several. There's Meat Church, Chicken Baptist.
No, it's in the spice aisle. It's just called a brine. It's in like all the spices where I'd find something like that.
Well, I get it online at the barbecue superstore, places like that.
Yeah.
But you can get it. Yeah, I'm sure that I think Cosmo's chicken brine is in like Ace Hardware, stuff like that.
Cool.
But yeah,
Okay.
you can find it.
All right.
But we mix it up with chicken broth, and if we're doing thighs, we're injecting those thighs with the chicken broth, or injecting the whole bird. Then we're taking what we don't inject, the leftover, and just putting it in a big Ziploc bag and putting the meat in there and let it marinate overnight, or brine overnight.
Okay, nice.
Brine is a mixture of salt, sugar, and spices that then get down in the meat. The salt draws the moisture out of the meat, and then just from sitting for so long, it will mix those spices in and draw that flavoring back in. Then you can grill your chicken and do whatever, and it's going to turn out a whole lot more juicy than if you just pull it out of the little package, put some rub on it, and throw it on.
Well, that's a good tip, because I got chicken breast, by golly, I need to put on the grill. So I think I'm kind of poking holes in the bottom, and then I'm getting some brine, mix it with chicken broth, let it sit overnight, boom.
And this is just in a plastic bag, right?
Yeah, you just put it in a Ziploc bag and let it go in the refrigerator and let it sit overnight.
Sounds good.
And it comes out great.
Well,
and then
that's awesome.
Another thing, when we're doing a whole chicken, I mean, it's pretty popular, the beer butt chickens and things like that, or drunken chicken is what a lot of people call it, where you put a can on a rack and then put the chicken down over it and cook it like that. That steams the chicken from the inside. If I'm doing it at home, I do that a lot of times, and it turns out really juicy that way too. But it's after I brine it. I think the brining has more to do than the steam from the beer can in the middle of the chicken. Yeah.
Easy to follow, these wonderful instructions from a champion like Tim Onstop, Mr. Pitmaster. Okay, I'm going to try this. I'm nervous.
It does work, believe me.
It's a little juicier chicken breast for me when I'm done.
Yes, and see, that's the reason that we don't cook breast in competition is they're too hard to get that perfect.
I know it.
Even but cooking them in a smoker, it's too hard or too easy just to get them a little dry, and then the judges are going to kill us.
And it's like a 1 minute. I mean, it's very close to being right and then not right. That goes. I've noticed that.
Right.
Yeah.
And the brining gives you a better chance of hitting that too.
You have a bigger window for the
when
target.
you hit that.
Yeah.
When you hit that 155 degrees for done chicken, in the center, then
boom.
You got to do it.
It's Tim Onstop. Big time. Yeah. Big time. And you're growing in every category. It looks like you guys are getting better in desserts, and I mean, you could one of these days you're going to get 8s on everything. Is that the top score? I think 8,
9.
9. He's going to get 9s on everything.
Man,
we haven't gotten 8s on everything, and that's been a losing day for us. Yeah.
All right, we need 9s. We're looking for 9.0. All right, my friend, what's happening at Dixie Chopper Dedicated Diesel? Any lawnmowers I can buy?
Oh yes, we've got residential, commercial, industrial mowers, the cheapest prices for a Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest mower that you will ever see. Need to get over there and see Andy while they're still available this year. Call him at 328-0562. Stop by the shop at 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. Get on a Dixie chopper.
What about my application for truck driver, sir, at Gale Frericks Trucking?
Well, Stevie, we got to get you out on the road.
Mm-hmm.
We do have at least one opening. We have a driver that isn't quitting us. He's moving. He would like to stay on with us even after he moves, but we don't think we're upfront enough to tell him we don't think we would be able to honor our promises when he's 600 miles from our core area as far as getting him home on time and getting the money he needs. I would rather see him be successful and than us struggle and end up doing the wrong thing in the end. So we're probably going to have to make a move there and have an opening. And then I honestly have a couple of guys that are getting up there in years and want to retire, and they're holding out until we can get good replacements. They're going to be long-term guys just like they have been, and want to build on their career.
Many people that work elsewhere in trucking find that yours is very family-oriented, home on weekends, and some of the other great things you guys do.
Well, we do all the safety stuff. My job is to make sure everybody gets the work done and get home safe, and that's the key. And that's what we stress to them. That's how we care, and it works out for a good atmosphere and good overall employee satisfaction.
How can we reach you, sir?
Get me on email at timo@gftlog.com. Call the office at 765-793-7131. Give me a holler. We'll get you going and get things happening.
I could do it, man. I drive to the ramp, call you, and say I'm done. I can get on the interstate. I can drive off the ramp, pretend I'm taking a nap, have my little blinkers on, and I'm done. I can't drive in town, man. I can't drive in town, okay?
Too hard
Stevie,
on
I'm
those
going to have to. It sounds like I'm going to have to get you a round trip job driving out to Seattle and back.
Yes, sir. Yes, we will be driving.
How about that?
Probably flying to Seattle and back. 2,098 miles from my house. So that's Jacob Hurtubise, my son-in-law, is now playing for the Seattle Mariners, my new favorite team. Tim,
well, you know these trucks have a sleeper. You could just take off and drive out there and spend the weekend, go to games, and come back.
I don't know if it works for Gale Frericks if I drive a semi out there and I deliver it in 2 to 4 months. Would that be too long?
We're talking 3 days. 3 to 4 days.
Well, I don't think I got 2 hours a day and then hit the 4 seasons. All right, Tim, you the man. We appreciate you very much. Thank you so much for jumping on again.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a good one. Pitmaster Tim Onstad, Gale Frericks Trucking, and Dedicated Diesel.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Unfortunately, there is not a one-size-fits-all retirement plan. Finding the right plan for you depends on many factors. The good news is that we can help improve your retirement readiness, whatever your situation. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
From computer systems to brakes and tires too, at PDR, fixing cars is what they do. Remember, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 or use their dedicated text-only line at 383-0619. Additional information including repair quotes and online scheduling requests available from the website at pdrauto.com. Remember, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR. Sarah Champagne Managing Partner Ben Quattrone.
We're always looking for people. You can go online and apply on our website. We never know what we're going to need. We're always expanding. We're always building more and growing our business. If we don't need a person and they come along and we find out that they're an eagle, they're a star, we'll hire them. We'll put them somewhere and wait for the spot we're going to have them working.
Learn more at sarahchampagne.com.
This week, it's the one sale pet lovers can't afford to miss. The Pets Pick Flooring event at Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. First, get a free labor credit on every carpet and floor. Get a $50 labor credit for every 100 feet you buy. Get up to a $1,000 rebate on great pet-friendly carpets and floors from Shaw. Ask how you can get free accessories or area rugs with your furniture purchase. And buy it all with 2 years free financing. The Pets Pick Flooring event is going on now at Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery.
It's great when hard work and experience are recognized. Hi, this is Ryan Heiser, President and CEO of Fisher National Bank. I am thrilled to share that Fisher National has been ranked 7th in the nation as a top lender in mortgage loans among banks with asset size of $300 million to $1 billion by our National Banking Association. This recognition is a testament to our lending team's dedication and expertise. After all, better banking experiences start with local people and local decision making. If you're in the market for a new home or considering refinancing your existing home, let our team at Fisher National Bank earn your business and trust. We offer competitive rates with low closing costs, and we locally service almost all of our loans. Come see us with all your home mortgage needs and experience the top-notch service that has earned us national recognition. Learn more at fishernational.com or stop by one of our branches today.
Fisher National Bank, exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather. Free Central Illinois, Champaign and vicinity. Well, clean up and recovery coming off the 55 to 65 mile per hour winds. And yeah, some of those tornadic producing thunderstorms doing just that, originating around the Macomb area, Jacksonville to Sangamon County, back up to around the Rantoul area through a better part of Champaign County with a couple of touchdowns and numerous funnel clouds and even twisters reported around the Peoria area for our efforts, if you will, just a quarter to 3/4 of an inch in the gauge from that squall line. Quieter day's worth of weather. Humidity eases on down. Maybe a sprinkle to the north and east this morning. Maybe a sprinkle this afternoon. Partly sunny at 83. 65 for tonight. First day of summertime tomorrow evening, 9:42. Partly cloudy, warm for the daytime hours and at 86. It's a heat wave weather pattern Saturday. Lasts through the middle part of next week at 92 on Saturday. Mid, maybe even locally upper 90s. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Heat index values past 105. Some active thunderstorms get going in the second half of next week. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Nate Evans of the Nate Evans Group. Some of the things that sellers can do to increase the value of their home.
We get this on almost every listing appointment. Hey, Nate, what can we do to increase the value of our home? We want to sell in a couple weeks. Are there some simple things we can do around the house? Or there's some major things that we can do around the house to increase the value or get a return on of our investment? And again, not every home is created the same and not every situation is the same. So if we walk in there, there's definitely some items that we can do. Paint, floors, and hardware are the easy items where you get your biggest return out of every time. That's easy to say. But there's a lot of times where we'll get questions from sellers where they're asking us, should I update my bathroom? Where should I stop on my floors? Should I redo my roof? Should I do mechanicals? And I think a lot of that plays into the overall scope of your goals. We like to get into the house when it's really not even ready for the market. We can get in there and usually save that seller a lot of money and a lot of wasted time and energy by just offering some simple advice on how we would treat it if it was our own.
You can reach out at Nate Evans Group and start packing.
Drive in, drive out. Recycling's what Max is all about. You can make some cash and do your share. We make it really simple because we care. It doesn't matter large or small. Our friendly staff will handle it all. Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Hi, this is Ross Craig with Philo Exchange Bank. Do you need a loan? When it comes to personal or commercial lending, experience matters. Philo Exchange Bank is a different kind of bank with over 135 years of combined lending experience. Let us be your trusted partner. Unlike many other banks, our lending decisions are made quickly and efficiently within the walls of the bank.
Philo Exchange Bank, hometown community banking since 1883. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hola, this is Cardinals broadcaster Polo Asensio. On Saturday, June 21st, the Cardinals host the Reds, and 20,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a Cardinals polo, no, not me, a polo shirt featuring the Cardinals City Connect design, thanks to Busey Bank. Plus, 10,000 kids 15 and under will take home a Mason Wind Growth chart, courtesy of Missouri Farmers Care. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
At Christie Clinic, our commitment is for the care of our community. That commitment includes keeping care local where our patients, their families, our clinics, and their hospital of choice are located. Our providers live and work here. It's their passion to care for their families and neighbors. Thank you for choosing Christie Clinic, your hometown provider. When you do, you support the health and well-being of your community.
Make an appointment today at ChristieClinic.com and click on online scheduling. Take care of yourself and put your health first.
Don't forget Bear football in 3 months right on Q96, which is locally heard. You can't get AM 1000 from here anyway. So we have the Chicago Bears on radio for all you people that will be bringing these bumper crops in the fall.
That's right.
Sundays, the Chicago Bears live on WQQB, all the hits, Q96. And yeah, new coach, new everything.
Mm-hmm.
Can the Bears make the playoffs? Heck yeah.
Why not?
So, seeing that we're carrying them, I'm now a Bear fan. Yeah, I know. I'm fickle. But we want the Bears to win, man. We carried the Cubs. They won a championship World Series title. Carried the Cardinals. They won a World Series title. Why not the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Why not, huh? Anyway, we'll see what happens. But again, mental note, Bears football lives on our cluster of radio stations.
Yes, Q96.
Okay, Diane, we shall... Is it Friday tomorrow?
I guess so.
Man, how fast it goes. Getting ready for the heat wave coming our way. Just be prepared and do whatever you do.
Mm-hmm.
We shall meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Enjoy the day.
That's Diane Ducey. I am Stevie J. Thank you so much for listening. Baseball this afternoon, all afternoon, an old-fashioned doubleheader from the south side of Chicago with the St. Louis Cardinals. Enjoy that. See you tomorrow on the radio. Have a great Thursday. PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Racing, racing, racing. Friday Night Lights at Farmer City Raceway is a blast. Only $15 admission and kids 12 and under are free. This Friday, June 14th, has Matco Tool Night, $1,000 tool spree to the late mods winner, Dyer's Top Rods mods, and a full show. Head to 850 Grove Street in Farmer City with hot laps at 6:30. Details at farmercityracing.com. You'll buy the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
What is most important in your life? This is Starla Carr with Provident Financial Group. If you're launching a career, raising a family, planning for retirement, or creating a legacy, we can help. At Provident, we provide strategic thinking and perspective that help clients realize their goals. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Sarah Champagne's been Quattrone on keeping his employees.
It's got to be the place to work. We have to pay the best. We have to treat people the best. Some of the guys wanted to order pizza the other day. Well, we bought 30 Papa Del's pizzas. BMW had the best month they've ever had. They said, can we have a cookout? Saturday, I cooked like 50 ribeye steaks. And they were expecting like cheese, burgers and hot dogs and stuff. Like, if I'm eating steak, you're eating steak. We both eat steak, we both eat hamburger.
Learn more at sarahchampagne.com.
This week, it's the one sale pet lovers can't afford to miss. The Pets Pick Flooring event at Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. First, get a free labor credit on every carpet and floor. Get a $50 labor credit for every 100 feet you buy. Get up to a $1,000 rebate on great pet-friendly carpets and floors from Shaw. Ask how you can get free accessories or area rugs with your furniture purchase. And buy it all with 2 years free financing. The Pets Pick Flooring event is going on now at Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery.
Your lawn is an important investment. Let Spring Green take care of that lawn. Your local, family-owned and operated Spring Green has been committed to beautifying your neighborhood through quality, service, and professionalism. Spring Green's full program customers are backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Smart Money Magazine reports that consumers value a home with a well-maintained lawn and landscape up to 11.3% higher than the base price. Why don't you call Spring Green today, 359-2111, or visit them at spring-green.com.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
Are you or a loved one 65 and older and need to schedule your free annual Medicare wellness visit? An annual Medicare wellness visit allows you and your healthcare provider to establish a personalized prevention plan for your healthcare. Call your Christie Clinic primary care provider to learn more and schedule your free annual Medicare wellness visit. Stay well with Christie Clinic.
Make an appointment today at ChristieClinic.com and click on online scheduling. Take care of yourself and put your health first.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers